These ideas, it is funny when you're in public office. You do get various ideas about transportation. We've gotten monorail ideas, running it down 95. The canal idea, I will take back. I just got to figure out how you put tolls on it. It is a great pleasure to be with you here this afternoon, and I want to thank you very much for the introduction and obviously the regrets of the governor. I think you can get an idea from the pecking order here that it takes 3 cabinet members to end up replacing 1 governor. But the thing is that between Jean Marie and Terry and myself, it's been a great honor to work for you, to work for the governor for the last couple of years. We're almost at that midway point. And I do think you can see that we've made a lot of progress in a lot of the challenges we're facing, not just here in Northern Virginia, but across the Commonwealth. But we have a lot more to do, and particularly the fact that we're facing even more challenges looking out here. I do just have to add to Terry Suit's little public service announcement. She went through with all the positive things that you need to do in case there's any sort of natural or man-made disaster. I just wish you would all just keep in mind this next very, very, very important part. If all these things that Terry talked about happen, here's what you got to keep in mind. Stay off my damn roads. Y'all get that? Everybody get it? All right. Well, we wouldn't have any of these problems if you just didn't try to drive in all these events. But anyway, we are obviously up here in Northern Virginia. Who got caught in any kind of congestion today? Anybody got, that's not great. Fantastic news. Because you got caught in congestion because either 2 things are happening. First is we're building or maintaining your road system or your highway system or your transit system. Or secondly, we are actually you're going to your jobs, okay? It is amazing when I look out and I go to different parts of the state. I will tell you there are many parts in this state that would just kill to have the type of congestion we have here in Hampton Roads or even down in Richmond. And when you do look at what we're facing across the state, we are facing really tremendous challenges, but the thing is that we're facing these challenges because we have great opportunities here. We have a great infrastructure. We have to maintain that infrastructure. We have to update that infrastructure. And the fact is that we have got to lay the groundwork for the future. Because you've heard it all this morning about the fact that we are going to be facing even more challenges when you look at what happens on the federal government side, when you look at how much money that is spent by the federal government here in Virginia, not just here in Northern Virginia, but also down in Hampton Roads particularly. We have got to take advantage of what we have. And this is what really has been a guidepost for the governor and for all of us in the administration as we look forward in trying to work with our friends in the General Assembly and the federal government to try and get the most out of our system now, to take advantage of this market, particularly in transportation, where we're seeing prices that we have not seen for a very, very long time, where we see the ability to borrow money at historic low rates, and the fact that we have a need to get people back to work. And so since we've been in office, we've been trying to do different things. The first is looking at our transportation program generally to find out why we're not seeing necessarily money that should be out on the street doing work out there, actually doing the work that those fees were intended to do. And so we did various audits. We were able to get money out in the street. In fact, I think everyone can say this year, there's no one in this room who's drove around this Commonwealth this year who did not be caught behind either a paving crew or a construction crew. In fact, I just want you to think about this. At any given point during the summer here in Northern Virginia, we had 100 different projects underway that involved some lane closures. 100 different projects every single night. In fact, we put almost $400 million out on the street for asphalt and for paving, and we're going to put another $400 million out on the street next year. Good things, positive things. For the first time in a very long time, we're going to get the interstates, the primary roads up to our standards by the end of next year. We also have been trying to find ways to make sure we get money out to projects. This is where we offered and the governor put forward various proposals to move forward on various bonding initiatives, the establishment of an infrastructure bank. How do we get more public-private partnerships? Because the only way we're going to deal with some of these real mega projects is to involve the private sector. And we were able to work with our friends in the General Assembly and able to get that package through, and you're starting to see the impacts of that. In fact, even more so over the next year, because just right now, I think we have almost 15 or 20 different projects from $15 to $200 million actually out on the street that we'll be able to move forward because of this package we were able to get through the General Assembly last session. Along those lines, I can just tell you that next week we're going to be holding our transportation conference, the Governor's Transportation Conference in Norfolk. And next year we will be hosting it up here. We've been trying to move it around the state. And so that we have the opportunity to showcase some of the things we're doing and hear from people's concerns and issues. But we will be having that conference, and during that conference we're going to be announcing that we have been able to move forward on almost 4 separate P3 projects, public-private partnership projects, worth almost $3.5 billion. And the governor's going to have the opportunity to announce those projects, including one of them up here. I think we all know what it is. I'm afraid to say what it is, because if you say anything about that project up here in Northern Virginia, you kind of jinx it. There's nobody from Arlington going to sue me out here, is there? Okay. Just making sure, you know. But we're able to move forward to those projects because of that package. And so we really are going to see even more work going on in the Commonwealth next year. I'm very, very pleased, as you heard this earlier from Secretary LaHood, that we have been able to move forward on this Phase 2 project of Dulles Rail. It took a lot of work. It is not a perfect deal. It's one, though, that we are making sure that the project can move forward, that we all have the opportunity to work together to continue to drive down the cost of the project and make sure it stays on schedule, and that we can end up dealing with and ensuring that the toll rates on the Dulles Toll Road do not get to the point that it starts to inhibit economic activity up here in Northern Virginia. We are also going to be working on I-66. We are finishing up on an environmental study or a major infrastructure investment study on 66, and we'd like to look at what the opportunities are for 66, whether it's hot lanes or some sort of transit running out from outside the Beltway. So these are some pretty good things going forward. I will tell you, though, and we're going to need the Chamber's support, and we're going to need all your support as we look forward to trying to take advantage of the advantage of the challenges in front of us to deal with the fact that we are going to see the federal government having to address its deficit issues. We have the people. We have the infrastructure. We are, unlike other states in the United States, we're very lucky in that we have really 2 global gateways to the rest of the world, here at Dulles Airport and also at our port down in Hampton Roads, that we can build on to make our economy even stronger, and particularly as we start to see the downturn in the spending by the federal government. Because of that, on the seaport side, we have taken various steps forward to address some of the issues that we're seeing down there. And we will be coming forward to the General Assembly with a package of incentives and an economic development package for the port. Right now, the port ends up generating almost 350,000 jobs in the Commonwealth. And the thing is how do we build on that? And that's what we're going to be coming forward to with the General Assembly. Another thing that we're going to be doing is coming forward with another package looking at commercial space. It is my honor that earlier this year the General Assembly passed over to me the management and the oversight of the Wallops Island facility, which is one of only 4 commercially licensed space flight facilities here in the United States. We're working with our partners in Orbital, which is headquartered here in Virginia, Loudoun County, for them to be able to start to launch resupply missions for the space station out of Wallops Island starting next year. The thing is that we're putting a lot of money in infrastructure for a liquid fuel facility, which will bring to us great opportunities to have other commercial and military and government launches out of Wallops Island. And so to take advantage of that and the fact that we're doing this facility, we will be coming forward to the General Assembly with an aerospace and an aviation economic development initiative as well. We are working with Dulles Airport. We are looking at how Do we maximize the potential for Dulles Airport, particularly for cargo operations? I don't know if people realize that right now, if you have air freight, we have truckers who are taking stuff out of Virginia, North Carolina. They drive right by Dulles Airport and go up to Kennedy Airport to put it on the freight lines going out internationally. And the thing is that it's one of the reasons we don't have that freight stopping in Virginia is because we don't necessarily have the capabilities there at Dulles Airport. And we're going to work very closely on both the transportation infrastructure as well as the airport infrastructure with our friends at the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority to make that a reality. But we're also going to have to deal with one last thing, and I'm very, very pleased that the Chamber has formed this transportation committee. We're going to be looking at how do we work together to try to address some of our funding issues. The governor made quite clear that when we moved forward on the package last year, that was an initial step forward to take advantage of the market, take advantage of low interest rates, and get people back to work. The thing is that we've got to find ways to address some of our shortfalls in funding looking out into the future. So this is something that we'll be working with the General Assembly and working with you all to help us move our transportation program forward to deal with not only new construction but also maintenance from today on out into the future. So with that, I just want to thank you all for having me here. I want to thank you all for everything you're doing for the Commonwealth. I would give you my email address like Terry did, but if you do, I'm not going to respond to it. See, this is the one that people always ask me something. They said, when I was when I first got appointed, somebody asked me, I was at a group like this, they said, well, what's the difference? You're head of a county government, you were head of a federal agency, now you're at the state level. What's the difference? And I said, well, here's the difference. And I said, when I was at the local government level, I hated the state government. I said, state government, they tell us what to do, they never give us any money, and I just hated dealing with Richmond. And then I was at the federal government. I hated dealing with the states because, here we were at the federal level, and we were much smarter, and we're giving them money. They still wouldn't do what we told them to do. Now I'm at the state level. I hate everybody. Good night.